Yo, what is up, people? It is Wednesday, it's 8 PM. This time I'm in Brighton and I just knocked the table. This is our live feed with @UP Fitness Live. I'm here to answer all of the questions, queries, and blow through any smoke, mirrors, or myths in the fitness industry, of which there are many. We are at Halloween right now, and we're getting to that time when everyone is going to start winding up for Christmas, trying to sell you this, that, and the other. So this is going to be an especially important kind of time for you. This is the whole reason I started these chats in the first place. So fire away with anything you've read, anything you've heard, anything you've seen. Ask us about our very own products, our Live Up online training plans, our online training plans, which you can do anywhere in the world, or our one-to-one training in various gyms that are now popping up all over the world. If you're not near one, you may well be soon. Obviously, those of you who, we always get some applicants for job applicants on with UP, you're always here at some point, so you guys feel free to ask any questions. Anito, what's up? Andrew, a couple of lads from the 6 Fit. Jay Coombe, is the water diet a no-go? I suggest you always drink plenty of water. If there's some kind of random stupid diet that's telling you just to drink water, then yes, it's a no-go. Eat food, your body likes food, your body needs food, your body operates very, very well off of food. As always, recording this for YouTube, so YouTube, if you're watching this, don't be afraid to ask your questions in the comments box below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Obviously not live, because for the next hour I'm going to be on Instagram. So if you ever want to speak to me live, face to face, screen to face technically, come over to @UP Fitness Live. The link is in the description box and we can chat together like that too. Right, loads of you coming in. Forgive me if the camera wobbles a little bit because I'm on makeshift tripods at the moment. But on that note, shameless plug here, just in case they want to try and sponsor me or some shit. I'm using a Joby Gorilla Pod and it's absolutely fantastic. It's got all sorts. So I've got the camera here, I have the camcorder here, I have lights here, I have microphones everywhere. So brilliant piece of kit. For those of you who do anything like I do, any vloggers, get the Gorilla Pod Pro, the full rig. Very, very good. Ben, what's up? What's up? Danny Wade, another one of my boys. Plenty of you coming in all over the place. So talk a little bit about something that we have come up today. Do you know what is also happening right now? I've actually just put a bit of a harsh video on it on my own, I was about to say Facebook, then I was about to say YouTube, but what I actually meant was Instagram, about Halloween. Now, what we are inevitably going to see over the next couple of days is every single tool bag in the entire fitness industry doing workouts with pumpkins. Pumpkins are not a workout utensil. Pumpkins are not adequate to weight train with. Pumpkins aren't funny to weight train with. They're just ridiculous. So stop training with pumpkins. Carve them. Do interesting stuff with them. Longman Tennis, what's up? Loads of you coming in. We've had one question on the water diet. Nothing else so far. Ilka, Pow, what's up? Plenty of you coming in. Mona, welcome back. Who's going to fire out some proper questions at me first? Who's coming in at me there? Let's go. I'll answer a few of them straight up. Intermittent fasting, do I believe in it? No, I think it's a silly thing to do. I think you should be eating meals very, very regularly and keeping the portions fairly small to maximize anabolism, minimize your chances of cravings or overeating at certain portions. Water, how much water do you drink a day? You drink about 4 to 6 litres as a man, 3 to 4 litres as a female. What else always comes up? Ketosis, do I believe in ketosis? No, I think it's again, has its medical uses. I don't think it's a good approach to use for body composition, which ultimately is what you all come here for. Better bet is to go low carb until you're nice and insulin sensitive, until your body is in a fat burning state, but doing it in a sensible way, eating plenty of vegetables, plenty of clean, lean proteins, and some great quality fats, not chowing down on bacon, cheese, and cream. Not smart. So that is those ones covered. We've got intermittent fasting. No, I don't think you should do it. Ketosis. No, I don't think you should do it. Ultimately, what do they all come down to? They all come down to, you guessed it, a calorie deficit. Taking in less calories than you are burning. Simple. Better off eating and not having to suffer. I do love the rants sometimes. Apparently, it's why people seem to respond to me a little bit, but I have to keep them fairly under wraps most of the time. I have to be a little bit quieter again. Now I am representing. You're often in hotels. What's a good hotel workout? Can you do a video? Jay Coombe, if you go to my YouTube, Elliot Upton on YouTube, you will see hotel workouts that I've actually done there. It's not in a room workout. I don't believe, there isn't a hotel in the world that doesn't have a gym pretty damn close to it. So I don't do in-hotel room workouts like the rest of social media, because you're not really getting anything from it. If you're staying in a hotel, there will be either downstairs in that hotel or very close to that hotel a gym. If there is, then you can go and use the videos that I've already recorded for that. So onto YouTube, Elliot Upton. What serving size of carbs do you recommend per serving? Uncooked rice, 50 grams, 100 grams for women. Depends on the size of the woman, depends how many carbs you've had already that day, depends how insulin sensitive you are, depends how you react to food portions. There is no recommendation there. What I would potentially recommend to keep yourself and your blood sugar levels fairly stable is to spread them out relatively evenly throughout the day, putting the lion's share of your carbs post-workout. But if you're looking for particular numbers, there isn't one. 5x5 strong lifts program, any good? Absolutely awesome. Yes, I'm a massive fan of 5x5. Very good for getting yourself very strong without burning yourself out too much. For instance, if I have a lot of overly fatigued clients suffering with a lot of stress, clients who don't necessarily recover that well from higher volume workouts, 5x5 is a really good go-to, because it will not only get them very strong, but it has an element of metabolic cost to it, and it's going to build some good muscle. Angel Light 101. How many calories would you say for women needing 31 needing to lose a few stone? That's not an answer I can give you randomly here. That could be anywhere between, let's say, 1,300 and 3,000. There isn't a very good ballpark there. If you want more details specifically on you can opt for one of our online training packages. But with regards to how many, there isn't a number. There's too many variables that go into that. Your size, the amount of muscle you're carrying, your health history, your daily activity, your general metabolic rate genetically. There's so many things that are going to go into that. So, what hormonal state you are in, what's your recovery like, what is your sleep like. So, too big a question, one that needs a little bit more specific. Jay Coombe, no problem. Is there a rule of thumb for depth you should go into a squat? Yes, below parallel. I feel I have poor range of motion for my hips and mechanics and don't feel quite right around the knees. My recommendation would be then to make sure you are warming up very thoroughly to actually open the hips up properly. Again, if you go to my YouTube, Elliot Upton, or in the private forum, Daniel, type warm up in the search bar, and it will bring up a video that I've already recorded of how to do a dynamic warm up pre-squat session, or any session for that matter. For those of you who aren't in the Live Up forums, you can go to YouTube and you can see that I've put it up there as well. So yeah, make sure you're mobilizing well. Make sure you're moving the body before you actually start to squat, and then gradually work in. Don't try to quickly progress up in weight if you can't get the range. Anita, you've asked us about suggestions for future stuff. Can you give us a flavour of what might be coming? I would love to, but what might be coming is so damn vast, it would take me the entire hour to chat about it, and I'd forget half of it as I went. So just keep your eyes out. How can you tell if you're insulin sensitive? You can get tests for it to do it specifically. A good measure is, are you pretty lean? If you're pretty lean, there's a good chance you're insulin sensitive. How do you feel after bouts of carbs? Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel lethargic? Do you feel tired? Do you get pumps when you train? Things like that. They're all good indicators of whether you are or you aren't insulin sensitive. Is feeling lethargic normal when starting on a low-carb diet? How long can I expect this to last? It is relatively common, yes. For most people, if you've got things right, it may last 5 days, maybe 7 days. If it continues to last too long, there's probably a good chance that your general calorie intake, fats especially, is too low. So you may want to shift them up a little bit. Coming down. Ben, what's your opinion on hyperhydration that Nick's posted around a week or so ago? I didn't see it, so I will have to have a look. Being super hydrated is absolutely phenomenal, but it's not something you necessarily want to be doing long term, because you can dilute the mineral balance in your body, which can be just as dangerous as dehydration. So being hydrated is phenomenal. I would imagine what Nick probably did was hydrate himself acutely for something, for a reason. I know he's been in the Bahamas, I think, Nassau, getting some treatments. He's been in hospital getting some treatments, so it will have something to do with that. But long-term hyperhydration is not smart, because you are going to imbalance your minerals. Any recommended supplements to add in for the winter season in general, bar vitamin D? Not necessarily. Vitamin D, I think you should be taking anyway, 5 to 10,000 IUs a day, every single day. No, not that I can think of off the top of your head. I'm a fan of kind of keeping things pretty simple. So for the most part, I would ask you to take the same things throughout the year. And before you ask what those same things are, we have already put packages together. So you can go to upfitness.com and you can search the Live Up Essentials. We have one package for men, one package for women. That's what I would recommend, really. You take all year round, which vitamin D is also very, very useful. I'll say 5 to 10,000 IU per day. Push-pull leg split is the best split. Cash, I wouldn't have said so, no. The best split is very much dependent on the goals of the specific individual. It's very dependent on the recovery factors of the specific individual. Very dependent on their history, their ability. There is no best split. There's a best split for you. There's something that works well for you is not necessarily going to work well for me or the other people watching this. So you've got to try and remember that. Push-pull split is a good one. If I was to say do a 5-day split and I was trying to hypertrophy certain parts of my body while still trying to get lean, then a push-pull split, doing say push-pull legs, push-pull, it could potentially work. However, I don't think I personally would recover well enough from that amount of training. So how can I find out all of what you just said, as in calories, muscle I'm carrying, etc.? Best bet is to either do an awful lot of reading and try and figure it out, or see a personal trainer, because there's a lot of variables that go into getting a diet right now. Of course, a lot of you out there are going to buy into all of these fads, these trends, all of this shit that's being put out on social media and Facebook and various ads and plowed into your emails and apps and whatever. But the reality of it is, it's far more specific than that. There's a reason that UP get transformations that no one else can get. It's because we uncover all of the other little rocks and all the other little stones that need uncovering. So your best bet, if you can, is to either speak to one of our personal trainers. You can start the Live Up program, where over time we can ascertain that, or you can get one-to-one online training, in which case, with the assessments that we do initially and the photographic assessments we would do initially, that can usually be determined pretty well, and we can work out exactly what you need. Reman, after 6 weeks on a Live Up program and losing over 14 pounds and watching body change and get stronger, I was gutted to have to stop because of health reasons, but we'll be back on it when I'm assuming back. You will be back on it. Say you stay focused, don't mess yourself around, and remember, if you've got health issues, that your nutrition is key. Your nutrition is always key. When your body's trying to recover from anything, I don't care whether it's a broken arm or cancer or a heart attack or whatever, your body needs the correct nutrition to fix that issue. So make sure you stay on that. Charith, you have just signed up for online training with Leonard, I believe, haven't you? Nice to kind of meet you. Can you explain calorie surplus, how to use it without getting fat? Calorie surplus is essentially taking in more calories than you burn. Now, to do that and not get fat, you have to be in a very, very small calorie surplus. If you can be in a small calorie surplus, and if you are training progressively, heavily, weight training, it can be beneficial to building muscle, because you have a few spare, essentially spare building blocks to actually allow your body to start creating new tissue. If you're in a calorie maintenance or a calorie deficit, your body doesn't have any substrates to actually create that new tissue. So that's essentially it. The only way to not get fat is to make sure that your surplus is small. What you find a lot of people do is they go on a bulk and they add 1,000 calories over their maintenance and just mostly get fat. Then what do? They think, shit, I'm fat, I need to diet back down. So they diet back down really, really, really quickly and lose all of the muscle, if not maybe a bit more than they put on in the first place. So keep it steady and slow. Anyone thinking about it, stop thinking and sign up. Hell yeah, I agree. Remember, anyone out there who wants to see what Renan was talking about, you can go to upfitness.com and just search Live Up, and it will give you everything you need on the program, what it entails, how it works. Hello, if one person is in a big calorie deficit, 1300 a day, and stops to lose weight, it means we should increase calories, right? More often than not, yes, I would take that up, because that's very, 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 very low. You certainly don't want to be down there a long time. Amir, I meant to ask, could you do a post on a good dumbbell barbell HIIT workout, please? Amir, have you not seen the dumbbell and barbell workouts that I put up in the forum about 3 or 4 months ago, and have reminded everybody about those 10 times over? I actually said it earlier on in this video as well. Go onto my YouTube or into the forum, because they are sitting there, and search dumbbell and barbell workouts. Go over to YouTube, Elliot Upton, and you'll see it flashing right up in your face. It's already there. Did that a long time ago. Evening, any more news on the LiveUP seminar? No, I'm awaiting approval. It's currently going through the processes within UP, so as soon as I know and I have a green light to go on that, then I will start putting it together and announce a date. Jasminda, lost 42 pounds over the last 18 months. Well done, awesome. Now debating whether I should bulk to put on some significant muscle mass. Can I get some advice on girls on bulking? Makes no difference, girls bulking to men bulking. You need to make sure you're eating in a small calorie surplus, as I just mentioned to Cherry. Small calorie surplus, and training progressively over time. So making sure that all of your major lifts are steadily going up, and that you're in a small calorie surplus. The mistake that everybody makes is that they think, I'm not gaining weight fast enough, I'm not gaining muscle fast enough, I'll eat a shitload. Then they start eating a shitload, they get really, really fat, or put on a lot of body fat. The more fat they put on, the more aromatase they produce. The more aromatase they produce, the less testosterone. Free testosterone can be used to actually build muscle, etc, etc, etc. So the leaner you are, the better you are going to be able to build muscle. You're in a better hormonal environment to put on new tissue. So just get the calorie surplus, take it up there steadily, and make sure you are training progressively. Being insulin resistant, using carbs post-workout only, do you recommend to have more fats to have more energy? Yes, more often than not. What to do for beginners workouts? Just move. Learn how to move. Learn how to get into the gym. Use the fixed weights if they are easier. Just get yourself in there. Learn how to feel your muscle. Learn how your body recovers from certain things. You know, read every book, watch every video, get your form right, train with people, you know, find some training partners. Ilka, what are your thoughts on coconut oil? Has it been highly debated lately? Coconut oil, again, is one of these things that it's a perfect example of why I started doing these live feeds. It's because in the most respectful way possible, all of you out there, the general population, whatever, fall for absolutely everything without questioning anything. And as soon as this thing pops up, everyone goes mental for it. The same happened to coconut oil. Same thing's happening with coconut water. The same thing will happen with ketosis. Same thing with intermittent fasting. It's trendy, and a bunch of clever people market it brilliantly, and everyone jumps on the bandwagon. Superfoods. I had this discussion with a couple of friends the other day. Superfood. Oh, this is a superfood, so you've got to pay £7 more per bag of it. No. It's just a food. It's a food that we're supposed to be eating. The only reason it's marketed as a superfood is because we eat shit the rest of the time. It's just a food, but we are gullible enough to pay for it. Coconut oil was one of those things that, you know, is it bad? Not necessarily. Is it bad in the quantities that everyone was having it in because some douchebag said that it was healthy? Absolutely. As soon as coconut oil hit the market, suddenly everyone was having an extra 2,000 calories a day of coconut oil and saturated fat, and it was just ridiculous. You know, everyone's adding it to coffee, they were adding it to green tea, they were adding it to hot water, they were smearing it on their eyeballs, doing whatever they needed to do. Anything like that, when it goes off, these little fads, trends, they're not great, they're not smart. Whatever's happening specifically with coconut oil now is kind of by the by with me. You know, the debates as to whether it's healthy, whether it isn't healthy, stuff like that, and the way we all fall for it is never healthy because we buy into it so heavily, we don't question it, we massively overuse it, even though we don't understand it. So, lifting weights, 4 days a week, 2 days cardio, eating about 2,100 calories a day. Is this okay? Depends how you feel and what's your goal. Me and myself, thumbs up. Head, hi, I need to get 100 grams of protein in a day. I'm a vegetarian also. What's the best way to do this with low carbs? Eat meat, basically. This is one of the biggest issues with vegan/vegetarian dieting is that in order to get your adequate levels of protein in, you have to really work hard to not overdo certain macronutrients, especially if you have issues with insulin or you don't deal with carbs terribly well. It's extraordinarily difficult. Your best bet there, potentially, if you're willing to eat eggs, things like that, then eggs, absolutely loads of them, egg whites, and you may, something like our vegan protein or the pea protein we have on the website, upfitness.com. Get chocolate hazelnut if you're going to get any. But the fact of the matter is if you are a vegan, if you are a vegetarian, you may not like me saying this, but I'm not going to bullshit you. You are fighting an uphill battle. Yes, you can get a transformation, but is it going to be as easy as someone who is eating meat? Absolutely not, in my opinion. Very, very difficult one there. Yeah, I've seen those before, but could they be done as HIIT after your weight session? Absolutely not, Emir. No, you're going to massively overtrain. No. Do some strongman stuff. Push a prowler, pull a sled, something like that. What is the most impressive body transformation that you've seen in UP, female client, and how long inches lost? That's a ridiculous question, purely because we have done tens of thousands of female transformations. For me to go back and pick out one specific female transformation, not only that, to then be able to tell you how long it was, how many inches she lost specifically. Think about that, would you? If we were your average personal trainer who had 3 or 4 transformations to our name, then maybe I could. Unfortunately, we don't. We've got many, many thousands, so I can't really help you there. Best bet, go through the Instagram, have a look at some of the transformations on there and pick the one that inspires you. Lemon Fit PT, what's up? Shahida, hello. I'm going to have some water because we've got to the end of the questions. Oh, we lost a few watchers there with my my comments on vegetarianism. How are those daily meal picks going? They're actually going all right until I've been completely off my eating for the last 3 days. Because I've been in a hotel, moving around a lot. I am eating, but I'm eating on the move. You made a good post in a week on joint issues from Impact HIIT training. What would you recommend for HIIT training? For me, HIIT should be something that is supplementary to a weight training program. It should not be the belly and the body of your intent to progress. If you're going to do something like HIIT, I would recommend things like sprints, cycle sprints, kettlebell swings, battling ropes, things like that. To do high impact stuff, it's been popularized by so many of these TV trainers, social media trainers, Joe Wicks, Kayla, whatever. Essentially what they're asking you to do is jump around your living room, smash your ankles, toes, heels, knees, hips, back and wrists to pieces, but everybody still does it because they signed a disclaimer and it's okay. The reality of it is it has a massive lifeline. By doing stuff like that, there's a damn good chance that you are going to hurt yourself. When you do hurt yourself, that's going to put you back to where you were pre-training anyway because you are unable to train. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, weight training can be dangerous, but if done correctly, if done under the right form, the right tempo, the right levels of control, and your ego doesn't get involved, then it is infinitely safer than high intensity interval training the way it has been popularized currently through social media. So I would recommend, say, things like sprints after you've had a thorough warm-up, battling ropes, hammer slams, kettlebell slams, prowler pushes, things like that. What's an example of a small surplus? 250 calories and then see what happens. Shilps. I'm thinking of doing a 6-week program. Would I see a significant result? Shilps, you would if you put the effort in. In fact, if you go over to my stories just now, you can either go to Live Up Online stories or my stories, Elliot Upton, and look at some of the results that have popped up there just in the last couple of months, all between, let's say, 5 and 12 weeks, and the results are spectacular. Your results are dependent on you. All of you out there must remember this. Your results are not dependent on us. We will give you every single thing that you need to get the absolute best result you possibly can. What you choose to do with that information we kind of can't control. We'll do our best to encourage you. We'll find ways to make you do it. We will find ways to take away the things that are stopping you from doing it, whether that be psychological barriers, physical barriers. We will work to try and optimize everything about that. But ultimately, it is down to you whether you succeed. It is down to you how good your results are, because your compliance is what matters. Your willingness to do what is asked of you is what matters. That's the only variable here. How long should low carb diet continue before increasing? I realise this may be dependent on the individual. David, it is very, very dependent on the individual. Personally, if I'm going to take away someone's carbs, it's never, ever going to be for more than 20, well, not even that, 14 days, let's say, 14 to 21 days, dependent on how the individual's feeling. Now, obviously that is very, very different, because I could take carbs away, providing I have high fats in my diet. I feel phenomenal having more fats in my diet and less carbs. When I start adding carbs, don't feel quite so good. However, I do also get extraordinarily weak when I'm having zero carbs, but it plays with my body composition, so I have to find that middle ground. If I am taking in predominantly protein, fats and vegetables, I get weak, but I do get leaner. However, when I start taking in carbs, even in small quantities, let's say 100 grams a day, I get considerably stronger, but I also get considerably fatter, irrelevant of what my calories are doing. So I'm a bit of an anomaly, but it's just an example that everyone is very, very different. So you have to try and figure out your specific response to stuff like this. When I start to shred, I lose body, a significant amount of weight from my face, upper body and bust. Is there anything I can do to prevent this? Unfortunately not, Lauren. You have... fat loss is fat loss. Fat loss is going to occur everywhere on your body or nowhere. There's not really any... You can't spot reduce. You can't decide whether fat is going to come off a certain place. It's simple as that. You say people do, I do more press-ups because it burns fat on my chest. No, it doesn't. People want to get abs, so they do loads and loads of sit-ups thinking that it's going to burn fat around that area. It isn't. Ultimately, if you are going to lose body fat, you are going to lose it everywhere, and some of us are always going to lose it first. A lot of you girls are very, very unlucky, and you are going to lose it from your boobs first. There has, I reckon, only been about 5 females in my entire career who didn't lose their boobs first. But it is what it is, It's one of those things that if you are just that way inclined, it's going to happen, unfortunately. Do you have a good oblique exercise? I don't really like Russian twist because of scar tissue on the tail area. Boski, I would grab something like a farmer's walk or a really heavy dumbbell in one hand and walk backwards and forwards. It doesn't cause flexion in the spine. One of the more dangerous things about oblique movements as people do it, let's say for instance the whole dumbbell side bend that you see people doing in gyms, it's incredibly dangerous and a really, really, really bad idea. You're asking essentially to perforate a disc or rupture a disc or herniate a disc, so that's not smart. You're better bet if you want to get your obliques strong, good, stable, then get a really, really heavy weight, carry it in one hand backwards and forwards along a long distance, and what that's going to do with every step, as your foot hits the floor, obviously physics, gravity takes effect, and it's going to drag the dumbbell towards the floor. That's going to create small contractions in the opposing oblique, and that's essentially going to kind of help them build in a really safe way. Helen Fran, oh man, late to the party, you sure are. Jock Grant, any tips on reducing DOMs after a leg session? Foam roller, general stretching? Both of the above, foam roller and general stretching. Also magnesium salts, age old, chuck it in a hot bath and sit there. And just keep moving, the better you can move, the better you're going to recover. So one of the classic examples we all do is we sit down as much as we possibly can after leg day because our legs are hurting. Quite a bad idea. So yeah, roll before, roll and stretch before, roll and stretch after, and then magnesium salts. Again, make sure you're getting loads of hydration and loads of food. Danny Wade, top response, mate. I agree. Do 2 to 3 sessions, which is limited to 10 minutes on my one-to-one. Having the weights up at 4 times a week now. I've never been this lean. There you go, man. Good. We have the perfect product, which is multi-capital. If you, Kessa, are spamming my chat, I will be blocking you immediately upon finishing this, so I suggest you shut it now. Kaylee, Do you have to do cardio with the online programs? You don't have to, but we do recommend it. R.I.P. boobs. I agree. R.I.P. boob. It's the worst part about my job, you know. What are your carb servings on 100 grams carb day? Post-workout only? Yes, so I have basically 2 meals post-workout. Today, for instance, I have had post-workout, I had some white potatoes and some sweet potatoes, and then I had some brown rice for dinner. Those are my carbs, and it worked out to be about 120 grams today. Alan Fran, my partner walks the dog 5 miles a day. He's done this for years. I think now he has stopped losing weight. Could this be because his body's used to walking? Should he start doing something else? Potentially, yes. You know, it also depends how old he is. But yeah, your body adapts. It's a very, very clever thing. Do you prefer linear or undulating periodization when programming fat loss? Depends at what stage. Arzagram. I am a massive fan, huge advocate for both client and trainer to keep it as simple as possible. Keep things as simple as you possibly can. Do as little as you possibly can for the greatest effect for as long as you possibly can to keep everybody's life simple. If and when that suddenly stops working, then you start moving into something slightly more complicated, such as undulating programming. Tasha, hey, I've genuinely been in a calorie deficit for 10 days and trained and I haven't lost a pound. Do you think things like eating late, etc. affect weight loss? Tasha, you either haven't been in a calorie deficit like you say, or you are in too big a calorie deficit. Crafty Dive Girl, struggling to add on the extra 2 kilogram weight when training shoulders. Any ideas? Been stuck for 2 weeks now. Do I up the reps with the current weight? Struggling to add the extra 2 kilograms. What tempo are you using, Crafty Diver Girl? Hello, do you recommend push-pull workouts for women, and what split would you do if so? Push-pull can work for everyone, absolutely. For me, if it was a female, I would probably do, let's say, I would do lower body pull, followed by upper body push, followed by... No, I wouldn't actually. How would I do that? I'll come back to you on that. It's not something I ever really use for a female. I tend to train females' lower bodies twice per week and upper body just on a maintenance on, say, a 3-day split. But trying to get from 10 kilograms to 12 kilograms tempo, right, 4-1-1. Yeah, then for now I would actually just drop the tempo to 2 seconds on the eccentric and try that, and that should push you past it. Going back to yours, Lucy, I would actually do lower body pull, upper body, lower body push, rest another day, lower body pull again. I've joined a CrossFit gym, really enjoying it. What's your thoughts on CrossFit? Helen Fran, my thoughts on CrossFit often involve an awful lot of profanities and strongly worded opinions which may not be welcome on here, so I'll leave it at that. It has a lot of things to be thanked for. It's got people lifting, it's got them off their sofas, it teaches a great work ethic. However, it's also one of the most appallingly coached excuses for exercise that the fitness industry has seen in a very long time. I have a bit of a problem with it because coaches can qualify in 48 hours from never having done it before, and apparently are then qualified to teach some of the most complex and dangerous Olympic lifts out there. Very recently I was actually told about a friend of mine at a gym here in Brighton. Somebody did a snatch, someone was doing a snatch incorrectly, surprise surprise, CrossFitter, and dropped the bar in the neck and has paralysed themselves from the neck down. So this stuff does happen quite regularly, and it's because things are not coached. The seriousness of what someone is undertaking when doing CrossFit is never it doesn't have a big enough part in the coaching aspects of CrossFit, and that's why I don't like it. Tasha, okay, fabulous, thank you. My calorie deficit is 1400 a day and I'm only eating 1000. Okay, so it's way too low, way too low. Crafty Dive Girl, thanks, no problem. MCFC, eating 1000 calories, are you mad? I agree. I think so. With UP Live, do you advise about supplements and help with hormone stuff? We certainly do, Lauren. The supplemental baseline is in the document that you get when you sign up for Live Up, and then obviously with things like specific issues with hormones, etc., it will all be stuff that we do through the forum, the big central forum that we have on Facebook, and with all of the other girls it's female only forum or a male only forum dependent on your sex, obviously, and then stuff like that is addressed in there. training 3 to 4 times a week. Do you guys prefer full body or upper lower split? Me personally, I prefer full body, but I can't say the same for every other trainer in UP. So Hayley Timmins, I've had the worst cough and cold for a week now and I've done no exercise, still no better. Should I continue to rest? I would recommend you, yes, continue to rest, and also potentially go to your doctor to make sure it's not some slightly more serious virus. Lower body pull, upper body. So low, Lucy, write this down. Monday, for instance, lower body pull. Tuesday, upper body, whole upper body. Thursday, lower body push. Saturday, upper body pull, and then the following week you do the same rotation, only switching the lower body pull and push around. So you do 2 on it each alternating week. Hey Chris, I love watching your vids, loving the vegan honesty. I'm here to be honest, right? This is the thing, you know. Obviously, some people aren't necessarily going to agree with my opinions, are not going to agree with my thoughts, or I know sometimes the way I put things across. However, the whole goal of me doing these chats was to help you guys out, is to help you see through some of the crap and tell you how it is. Everybody out there on social media is trying to lie to you. Take my word for it. Everybody is trying to lie to you. We at UP are not going to be that person. Sometimes you're not going to like what we say. Sometimes you're going to want to hear a different answer. But the fact is, my conscience is clear because I'm giving you the information as it is. So thank you, Rose. CrossFit, deadlifts, cleans, etc. plain ugly. They're just horrific, you know. And don't get me wrong, they're complex exercises. They're difficult to teach. But half of the CrossFit coaches out there don't even know how to teach them. That's the basics. Never mind snatches, cleans, jerks. It's just a... Oh. Tasha, you're welcome. Iro, do you recommend daily magnesium supplement? Why? Yes, I do. I've gone through that a million times because it's going to help your recovery. It's going to help many, many other things in your body. It's a cofactor in a lot of other things that are going on. So without it, your body's not going to work optimally. It helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to calm your body down. It's going to help you sleep a load better. Primarily for me, for sleep, magnesium is the number one supplement you can ever take. If you don't recover that well, you find that you have restless sleep, then do that. You know, one of the things I see on Instagram all of the time is people at 3-4 o'clock in the morning on their Insta stories, oh, I can't sleep. And every single time, because it annoys me so much, there's 2 answers I give. Number 1, get off your phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. Number 2, take magnesium. I would say 1 in 10 people I offer that advice to actually takes magnesium, and I always get a message 2 weeks later, oh my God, this has changed my life. But then they break the habit and start picking up their phone and cruising for Instagram at 3 o'clock in the morning because they have an addiction and they need to see a therapist. Right. Thanks. Can't decide between UP Live or online training. It very much depends. Depends on how much specificity you need, Lauren. They will both provide a level of service to you that you probably won't get anywhere else. However, they are very different levels of service within themselves. Obviously, online training or online training service is specific to you from day one. Live Up is not. Philly, would you allow 80% chocolate in a fat loss plan? Not only would I allow it, I recommend it in the Live Up plan for females, yes. What are the main supplements you would recommend for staying lean and improving strength? Cash Watkins, if you go to upfitness.com and you look for the Live Up Essentials, that's Live Up Essentials, put it in the search bar and you'll see exactly what supplements I recommend for exactly what you've just asked. And Nito, magnesium for sleep, hell yeah, 100%. And Nito is one of our guys from the Live Up plan, obviously sees the benefit of it. Helen Fran, I need a kick this week. I've not done much and I'm blaming the cold dark nights. Well, stop being a little biatch about it. Stop blaming the cold dark nights. Put your coat on, get a torch, go out in them. Any mag supplement in particular? There's many different chelates of magnesium which have marginally different actions, but we have magnesium L-threonate, which is up on our website now. So look for mag L-threonate, and that will cross the blood-brain barrier very, very easy and allow you to rest and sleep much better. Tips to increase insulin sensitivity, control your carb intake and weight train. Lauren Will, thanks Elliot, you're welcome. Cash, no problem at all. Oh, it's so hot in here. I should really open a window to see. Bear with me, 2 seconds. Alright, We're letting the cold UK winter air in. That's what I want. Alan Fran, I'm booked in tomorrow. I will be there. You best had be. Don't hate yourself. It is CrossFit after all. Drink some water, mate. It's been a while. Stay hydrated. Appreciate everything you're doing. You're welcome, BB Fit. No problem. As long as, you know, if I can help 5% of you out there not to fall for everything that's being sold to you, then I am happy. My job is done. So that's the main thing for me. This is especially true, you know, for Christmas, for what's happening now. You are about to get absolutely bombarded with stuff to spend your money on that doesn't work. So come to me, come to us, send us a message, comment on a post, whatever, and we will do our best to answer you. We always put a lot of effort into answering everything. So if you have questions, concerns about one of our own products or anybody else's, then do feel free to reach out. If we can answer, we will. Jeanette, yo, Linda, hello. Hi, I'm from Ireland. What is the best upper body exercise? If someone was going to say I can have one upper body exercise to do for the rest of my life, it would be a pull-up. That's what it would be, a pull-up. Why? Because it's going to be better for your posture. It works basically every single muscle on the upper body and partially in the lower body. It's going to decompress your spine a bit. It's going to keep your shoulders nice and healthy. So that would be it. One upper body exercise to do, pull-ups. Will you keep these Q&As going in 2019? I absolutely will. I've kind of made a promise to myself and you guys that I would do one every single week throughout 2018. I have not failed in that yet. I've been up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning in Asia, making sure I'm still on this. I've come in from nights out on stag do's to make sure I've been here for you. So yes, so long as I have breath in my body, no, I'm joking. So long as I am still with Ultimate Performance, which I hope to be for many years from now, you will still see me here on Wednesdays, so long as I can provide value and I can actually help you folks. There may come a time, possibly, when I decide to take an actual holiday, but who knows? It's unlikely. I've not done for a while. BB Fit, what's my views on creatine? Creatine's very good. It's going to help you lift slightly harder for longer. It's going to regenerate the fuel stores you use to lift very quickly. It can also help reduce degenerative bone diseases in both men and women, so very useful. If you have a pre-existing liver condition, it may be something that you want to check with your doctor first, but otherwise it's a very useful supplement to have indeed. And you can get it on our website, upfitness.com, so you can pop on over there. Do you need to load it? No, you don't really, in my opinion. Just take 5 to 10 grams, let's say 5 grams per day or per morning, whatever, in your post-workout shake. Why post-workout? Because that's when it's going to be absorbed most rapidly. With the online training, do you have someone you can speak to one-to-one, or is it just a plan given to you and that's it? Sorry, I haven't had a chance to look on the site yet. So with one-to-one online training, you have your own assigned trainer who you have 24/7 email contact with. Now obviously they are in the gym all the time, so maybe it'll take a few hours for them to respond most of the time, but you have 24/7 contact with them 7 days a week. They should be on hand. With regards to extra bits and bobs, maybe something that comes in the future, but yes, you have access to someone all of the time, your own trainer assigned to you. Northern Monkey, does it matter how high your back foot is on a rear foot elevated split squat, step or a bench? It does, yeah, Northern Monkey, because it's going to massively affect the range of motion depending on how mobile your hip flexors are, your rectus femoris are, your tibialis anterior is. So yeah, if you are too high, you're not going to get adequate range on the movement. You're not going to get the depth that you want to get the flexion on the front knee, the flexion on the hip, etc. So just be aware of that. The other thing I would recommend, if you can, is instead on a rear foot elevated split squat, instead of putting your foot on something like a bench, put it on a roller from, say, a quad machine or a ham machine, something that you can't push off. Because if you're pushing off whatever it is on the back foot, because it's static, it's stationary, and it allows you to get some traction on it, you're actually going to take away from the activity on the front leg, which is what you want, and also potentially cause excessive tension in the front hip, which kind of doesn't defeat the object, but it diminishes the effectiveness of that exercise for mobilizing the hips. Philly, no problem. Be fit, you're welcome. Also, so sorry, been training weights for around 4 years, still can't do a pull-up. Any recommendations on exercise to help do a pull-up, because I find it absolutely impossible? Number one, make sure your thoracic spine is mobile. Make sure you can actually move properly. Secondly, train your biceps sub 6 reps. Make sure you're doing slow tempo bicep work, sub 6 reps. Make sure your retractors are working properly, so your lower and mid traps. There's many different things you can do. Liam, if the client gives 100% in everything they're doing, you think there's anybody if the client gives 100% in everything, do you think there's anybody you can't get the result for? Depends how long they have. You know, let's say, for argument's sake, that someone has some crazy restrictive underlying problem that we can't see, that we can't detect, that could be causing a barrier. Then the only variable is it may take time. But if we have someone who is giving us everything, who is being 100% compliant, then yes, absolutely, we can get a result out of everybody, providing we have the time to do so. Aiden, what's up? Tasha, thanks for your advice. No more questions from me. Tasha, you can ask as many questions as you want. That is what I'm here for. We've got 15 minutes left. What else have we got coming? Who's next? No, kid. You've probably answered this silly question, but with Live Up, do you need a gym membership? We recommend it, yes. Now, the reason being is that when I wrote Live Up, it was about trying to combat everything that stops people getting in shape. Now, to give you a bit of a background on it, is Live Up was the culmination of 9 years of programming from me. It was 9 years of training programs that I'd written for clients, what got good results, what didn't get results as fast as I'd have hoped, and what problems occurred in every single one of those programs. What was stopping the people from getting a result? If I could remove everything that stopped someone from getting a result, then surely, theoretically, all I would be left with was what got people results. Now, rather than going on about all that kind of crap, what is usually the number one factor for people not getting a result? Social support. It's people trying to sabotage. It's their friends, family, partners, all of these people trying to screw things up for them. They become demotivated. They don't have the accountability, anything like that. Now, there are two reasons why I wrote Live Up to be a gym-based program. Number one is that it is safer to be in a gym, and you are able to progress infinitely in a gym. So you're not going to get your transformation and suddenly not know what to do with yourself. Secondly, by putting you in a gym environment, not only do you have the progression, but you also have the social support that is so vital. You meet people who are like-minded. You are inspired and motivated by people who are like-minded. You put yourself slightly out of your comfort zone, which is a scary thing, but when you see the benefit that can come from doing that, it has a knock-on effect to the rest of your life. So a long answer to your short question, yes, it is a gym-based program. What is the best way to calculate how many calories you should be having for weight loss? Best way, Mark, write this down if you need to. Track your calories for 1 week. Track everything you eat. Then you work out the average amount of calories per day you have eaten. Do all of that. Now, if you have gained weight, you are in a calorie surplus. If you have lost weight, you are in a calorie deficit. If you have maintained weight, you are in a calorie maintenance. That will let you know where you are and roughly how many calories you need to take in for whatever goal. God, you would have water when I'm drinking a glass of wine, say, the bloody shame. Damn right, Amy. Damn right. Shame on you. Oh. You disgust me. To the best of your knowledge, are Solgar digestive enzymes any good? I'm currently on a calorie-controlled diet. To the best of my knowledge, they are. You do have to be careful, though, because I believe certain Solgar products contain gluten, which, considering they're trying to help the digestive system, can sometimes cause issue for some people. So be aware of that. Just check your tub. Boski, what kind of accountability can I expect on Live Up? You can expect to be accountable to 300 or 400 other people doing the same program as you, who you will be in contact with daily via the forum. You have accountability to me. If you let me down, I will be pissed. And you also speak to me once a week via your check-in, photo check-in, and I give you feedback on there. If you are wanting someone, obviously, to hold your hand in a little more specifically and far more frequently than one-to-one would be your option. That's if 300 or 400 people and me are not enough. How high maintenance would you be? Naked, you're welcome. Not naked, as in I just shortened the end of his name and then the kid pit. His name's actually Mane Naked. How can you measure the muscle mass you win? You can't really. You can get your body fat tested, lean mass tested, and get a rough idea of what you're putting on, but it's quite difficult. For me, always the mirror is your measure of success. How do you look today versus how do you look the same time next week versus how you look the same time the week after that? That would be what I recommend you do. Amy casting memories. Yeah, not sure it's a laughing matter, Amy. I'm here trying to be healthy, trying to teach you how to be healthy, and you're throwing it back in my face by getting drunk while you watch my live feeds. What are your feelings towards or approach towards clients who hate weight training, simply refuse to do it regardless of the evidence because it puts them off exercise? Me personally, or are you asking about UP? Just answer that question, then I will be able to give you an answer to yours. Me personally or UP? I'm definitely high maintenance, hence why I'm going to do the one-to-one online and not Live Up. Good. Well, you'll be very much looked after. We've got some phenomenal online trainers, so just stick with that. Barso, I'm a bit drunk too watching the live feed. Why is everyone getting drunk watching my live feed? I'm not sure how I feel about this. Maybe I'll do one drunk one day. Let's see what happens there. See how much more interesting it gets. I'm sweating so badly right now. Open the window, it's about 1 degree outside. I hope you're right, you'll be fine, Kaylee, don't worry. DMC training, thanks for all the content, mate. Thoughts on metabolic damage? Does it or does it not exist? Honestly, yes, I believe it does. This is something that is a bit of a grey area. You've got some people saying yes, some people saying no. The reality of it is, if you have been unhealthy, if you've really abused your body, then there will be scars, there will be marks that are left behind because of that. Now, is that to say it's metabolic? Not necessarily, but could it be digestive? Absolutely. Could there be cellular damage? Absolutely. Could there be neurotransmitter kind of malfunctions? Absolutely. Do I necessarily think it's metabolic damage? Not 100% yes or no, but there are knock-on effects. If you have caused yourself some issue in the past, if you've crash dieted, if you've been dramatically overweight, if you've been dramatically underweight, yes, I do believe that some people's bodies are not resilient enough to bounce back from that kind of stuff. So it's a possibility. Do you recommend Live Up for people already lean, wanting to get that bit more out of themselves? Absolutely, 100%, because it allows you, say, the social support, it allows you the educational resource of UP trainers, of me, of everyone else doing the programs. And one of the other things that we've got to remember about Live Up is that it's not just a fat loss program. You know, I have guys on there, and girls in fact now, that have got so lean they wanted to start putting on muscle. For instance, who we start on a fat loss protocol. A good example, actually, if you go over to my stories, there's one guy, Kevin. In his first 6 weeks, he wanted to get lean, so we got him super lean, got him mega dry. And then he was like, right, now I want to put on muscle. Over the last, let's say 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, he's put on 5 kilograms of muscle and stayed exactly as lean as he is in his final transformation photo of that 6 weeks. Okay, so let's say it's taken him 5 months to get super lean and put on a minimum of 5 kilograms of muscle in that time through Live Up. So it's a fat loss program, but it's also a muscle gain program dependent on where your goal is and what I instruct you to do. So it can kind of tick all of the boxes. It's why we work out, so we can drink. Yes, do a drunk live feed, please. Maybe I'll have to do that on my own profile if that ever comes up. I certainly wouldn't be able to do it here. I'm a vegan, and what do you think about diets like keto and others to build muscle? probably not going to do any good for you, unfortunately. By the way, I recently signed up at UP Amsterdam. My goal is to go from lean to clean bulk. Looking forward. For me, ketosis, something like that, you're really going to struggle to gain good muscle on it. There's a few advocates of it, very, very, very intelligent advocates, but I can guarantee you they didn't gain their muscle from ketosis. They don't maintain their muscle from ketosis. They just sell it because they believe in it. I think some people will be able to gain muscle, but I don't necessarily think it's everybody. So try it, see how you go. You would have to be in a decent amount of calories. You're going to need to take in a lot of calories, but there's certainly, for me, there's going to be a possibly negative effect to your muscle growth, the amount of weight you're going to be able to lift, all of these things because of a chronically low carbohydrate diet. Best training for hips to lose fat. The best training is to eat correctly. DMC, no problem. Shups, what motivation tools are used at UP? Do you cater it to the individual? If we can, yes, absolutely. Obviously, it's very, very difficult again with Live Up because it's not a specific program. But what I do try to do is get as much information from the check-ins as possible to feed content into the forum weekly. With regards to one-to-one online training, then yes, that is very, very individualized. Our trainers will do what they have to do to get the result out of you. That is their goal. It's to get the result. The same applies in the gyms, one-to-one personal training. The goal is to get the result, whatever that takes. However, we need to figure out where you are limited, what's holding you back, what's taking you and saying no, you're not going to do this, you're not going to achieve this. We'll figure it out and we try to find it. So Tasha, how do you resolve metabolic damage? I was very underweight last year, and since recovering I can't lose anything. Any tips what to do or take? Didn't you just tell me that you were on a super low calorie diet though? HRV, great, you've sold it, awesome, glad to hear it. Get on over there, upfitness.com, and go and buy it. At what body fat should one start to put on muscle and size without losing losing fat? Not sure what that means. Where would I'll try and interpret it a little bit and say, where would I try to get somebody gaining muscle? I will try and get a guy down to about 10%, maybe a little bit less, before I start trying to put a load of muscle on him. Why? Because the leaner that guy is, the more carbohydrates I can give him, the easier I can see what's happening if I make a wrong decision, the faster I can make changes. He's going to be more, he or she would be more insulin sensitive. He or she is going to use fuel better to build muscle rather than store fat. So I'll try and get him pretty lean before I start going anywhere. The same applies to females. I'll try and get you down to about 12 to 14% and then start trying to build muscle from there by adding loads of carbs. What do you recommend for low progesterone levels? Again, no, I have no update on that. Is one-to-one calorie and macro target, or are you given a meal plan? Liam, what we try to do is, obviously, again, it's kind of individually specific. I always advise the trainers not to give meal plans. Reason being is that once you have a meal plan, you are locked in. Ultimately, you are going to fail at some point, and it's going to come a lot faster than if you take macro targets. Why? Number one, because you aren't educated about your food. Number two, because you are restricted to those 5 meals, those 3 meals, those 4 meals, whatever. If you go and eat out, you're screwed, okay? If you go to a birthday party, you're screwed. Any time that you are out of routine, you are going to fail. Now, let's say you didn't fail fully and you still made relatively good decisions. Psychologically, your brain says, I did not achieve what I was supposed to achieve today. That has a massive knock-on effect. Meal plans, specific meal plans, although they may seem on the face of things really, really useful and great and everything that you want and need, they are the reason most programs don't get results that you can keep. So we will do them if we have to, but for the most part I'd recommend not having them and sticking to macro goals, because you're going to get a much better education. I will do it if you come with it. I come with everything, you know. There is literally no part of the UP universe where you don't see me gibbering on, talking all sorts of rubbish sometimes, but also some quite witty, hilarious, anecdotal whatever. I don't know how to finish that sentence, but it was sounding cool while I said it. Any fitness goals yourself at the moment? Yes, don't be injured. I've spent basically two and a half years injured, and for the first time now, I'm taking my training extraordinarily slowly at the moment. Super short sessions, very, very low volume, in and out pretty quickly, maximum 3 days hard training a week. I'm just taking it easy. My fitness goals right now are just to not be injured anymore, because it's driven me crazy. You know, in the last 2 years, I've ripped my lat, I've ruined my right shoulder, I've ruined my left wrist, I've torn my hamstring, I've torn both glutes, just basically through, you know, I've always had online coaches, some of the best in the world, but unfortunately I've learned a lot from what other coaches are extraordinarily bad at. And I know that my body's recovery factor can't take the kind of programs that these people write. Unfortunately, it's left me with injuries, absolutely plagued with injuries. So yeah, my fitness goal is to not get injured anymore and fix all my current ones. What body fat should a woman aim for? Between 12, let's say 14% is a good ballpark for me. That's where you're going to look lean, you're going to look athletic, but not lose your femininity. Tasha, yeah, I'm still quite low because I'm afraid of eating more and I don't know I've damaged my body. Take your damn calories up. Anito, thanks Elliot, really enjoy my Wednesday evenings. Awesome, glad. Good to know that some of you are enjoying it, some of you are out getting drunk, some of you take some good information from it. Either way, I am very, very glad you're here. I'm very grateful that you're here, so please do keep coming, and make sure you tell your friends, make sure you share our posts, UP Fitness, make sure you share my posts, Elliot Upton, make sure you share the Live Up Online posts. Try and get as many people here as possible, because it's fun talking to you guys, and I want more of you on here. How have you had all these injuries, and how do we avoid them? Purely poor programming by coaches that I've had in the past. The people who've given me my programs were just terrible. What do you do to keep up with your fitness when you're injured? I walk a lot. This is me out. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye. Thank you. YouTube, that was me. That was 1 hour of me giving you as much information as I could possibly fit, answering your questions as always. Now, if you want to join us, go over to @UP Fitness Live on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. UK time, and you can ask me these questions live, straight up. I'm just going to share that. That is now done to Instagram. If not, pop your questions in the comments box below. I will come back to answer them as fast as I possibly can. If it warrants a full video, I'll put a full video on it. Like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, share this video to your social media. You can share it to Twitter. You can share it to various places. So please, please, please do that. Show us your support. That is me out. We have been Ultimate Performance, and I will see you next week. Remember, anything you have listened to today will be in the description box below. I'll add links, but do feel free to ask me any further questions should you need to. Bye-bye.